Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How y'all doing? Well, today I'm back in my kitchen. Miss V is in the kitchen this morning, and I'm gonna cook collard greens with smoked neck bones. And I think I mentioned in another video I like to put chicken in my greens sometime. Well, I'm gonna put some chicken in my greens, short thighs. I sure am. And something a little different I'm gonna put in my greens that a lot of people probably not really familiar with unless they really in the South. I'm going to put pig ears in my greens. I have them, excuse me, I have them cut up in strips, and I'm going to put all those different meats in my greens today. So right now I'm going to get my meat washed. I've been having them, it's been like, my meat has been soaking in vinegar for maybe for about 30 minutes. So now I'm going to wash this meat and put it in the pot. And then I'm going to get my greens washed, okay? Sometimes on these pig ears, you have to get a knife and kind of scrape them. Although they've been sitting and soaking. You don't have to scrape all of them. Use a good scrubbing with your hands will do. Now you don't have to put pig ears in your greens. You don't have to put the chicken in there either. You can put either or whatever meat you like. You can even use smoked turkey. Smoked neck bone. These are the short thighs. You got short thighs in there, smoked neck bone, and the pig ears cut up in strips. Okay, so I got my meat all washed and got my onion and my bell pepper in there. So now I'm going to start putting seasoning in here. Just remember to be careful with your salt. Taste it when it's about halfway, because anytime you have smoked meat is salty. So this is broth base. Badea seasoned salt. Still using this. Told you before I prefer Lawry's. But since I got this, I'm going to use it till it's gone. Garlic powder. Complete. Onion powder. Black pepper. I don't measure anything, so you just have to eyeball it. And this is Sazon. And a little bit of Louisiana hot sauce. Okay, I'm gonna cover that up and just let that kind of cook a little bit while I get my greens going. Okay, so in this first water with the greens, I have some baking soda. And probably about a drop of bleach. Yeah, I know some people don't put bleach in theirs, but I put a little bit of bleach in mine. And I tell you, this is water. I can tell it needed a little bit of bleach. Just a little drop, not much bleach. Now in the winter time when it get cold, and a good way to see if your greens are really clean, when you take all the greens out of your, maybe about your second or third wash, because you got to wash them at least twice, probably 3 times. If they're really sandy, you're going to have to wash them more than that. And if you cook in mustards, or turnips, there's no telling how many times you have to wash those greens. They're going to really be dirty. Okay, that's the first washing. I don't feel any grit even in the first one, but I'm still going to wash them a couple more times. I normally wash my greens 3 times anyway, whether they feel dirty or not. The first wash, I usually start off with warm water. Second and third wash, I go with cold water. These are the type greens that I usually like. I don't have the top on them anymore. But they're in an orange and white bag like this. And they're the shredded collard greens. But any brand, if they're shredded, unless you like your greens big and chunky. I prefer mine to be shredded. Occasionally, I might want them cut a little bigger. Find any big stems in there, just take those out. I'll run across some stems. But big ones like that, you don't want that in your pot. The first sink, or first washing, I start out with the baking soda and just a little drop of Clorox. And also I put a dot, just a dot of Dawn on my finger. And I go under my greens and just smooth that around. I don't put it in there with the water running on top of that because you don't want it to fuzz up. Okay, this is the third sink over here, the third washer. They back where they started. You feel the bottom of this. I still don't feel any grit. If they're really dirty, even after that first, second wash, you're going to feel the grit at the bottom of that sink. After you take your greens out, before you unstop that sink, just bring your hands gently across the top of that sink. I mean the bottom of that sink. Just run your hand just lightly across. And you'll feel that grit. Okay. I'm going to do that last rinse. And then I'm going to start putting them in my pot. Now the greens that I got, I have 2 bags. But I'm probably going to freeze half of my greens. If I don't give half of them away. All right, got those in there. Got about 1/4 of greens in the sink left. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to blanch those greens. They're already washed. And blanch them is just, I'm going to put hot water over them and let them drain. And then I'm going to put them in freezer bags. And put them in the freezer for the next time. See, the next time all I have to do is have a little meat and seasoning and put those frozen greens right on in this pot. All right, we'll be back in a little bit to check these greens out to see what's going on. Okay, let's see what's going on with these collards. I'm going to put a little bit of sugar in them. I don't want them to taste sweet. Just a little bit to bring out the flavor. I've got a good teaspoonful. Okay. Okay, I'm going to add some more water because I want it to really boil. But as they cook down and they get done, that water is going to cook out of them. Now also to my greens, I like to add a little margarine. I got some bacon dripping, which is the oil from some fried bacon that I cooked earlier. Put about a half a stick of this margarine. And this is bacon dripping. Now you don't have to put the bacon dripping in there. You can just use some smoked meat or fresh meat, whichever you desire. And you don't have to add that bacon dripping or the margarine. Your greens gonna still taste good if you season them. And when you taste just check your seasoning, taste that water, that juice on your greens, because that's where that seasoning need to be, in that water. And pour this water in there. Now as my greens cook, I like to put just a dab of pickle juice in them. So I'll be adding that a little bit later. But you don't have to add that in either. Your greens still gonna be good. Okay. Gonna let that cook. And we'll get back in here and check on it a little bit. Let it boil a while. It normally takes collards. We're not totally into cold weather yet. It's still pretty warm outside. Although these greens are not real tough, but normally it probably would take these greens a couple hours to cook. If it was like dead in the winter and it was cold, and maybe that dew had fallen on those collards, it may not take them quite as long to cook. But we'll be back to check on them in a little bit. Okay, so I think the greens are just about ready. Let's check them out. Okay. There they are. That chicken may cook up in your pot, maybe not. But they're ready. Okay, there they are. Got my smoked neck bone in there. I'm going to break that up. Got my chicken. And those pig ears. Honey, don't talk about those pig ears. Don't knock it till you try it. Now, folks that like chitlins or pig feet, you love those pig ears. I don't like them whole, but I like them when they're have them cut in strips. You have them cut maybe about an inch wide. That would be good. I'm trying to show one. See, they're about that wide. Get them cut about an inch wide when you cook them. They're even good if you want a pork pot. It's good to add those pig ears with. Well, okay. So that's it for me and my collard greens and the way that I cook them. I hope everyone enjoyed this video, and I look forward to you when you come back and you watch my next video. I really appreciate it. And if you would, please like, comment, and subscribe and share. I would really appreciate that also. And you guys have a great day, and thank you so much for watching my video, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.